Takoradi Air Force Base, where a candlelight vigil is just ending for the 3 servicemen on that fated chopper. Plus, we'll look ahead at the national event at the forecourt of the State House Saturday evening, which is tomorrow. And now, if you'd like to be a part of the program, as you watch us on YouTube, x.com, facebook.com, 3news.com, TV3, and listen to us on 392.7 FM, and sure to use the hashtag Ghana Tonight. As we do always, let's bring you Ghana Brief now.
Authorities in Ekrofom are urging residents to immediately return any items they may have taken from the scene of a recent helicopter crash, as military and police work to secure the area for investigation. Security forces remain stationed in the community, enforcing a strict ban on farming in nearby forest zones, while recovery teams collect debris, including all helicopter parts and other critical evidence. Former President John Agyekum Kufuor visited President John Dramani Mahama and First Lady Lordina Mahama to offer condolences and support after a helicopter crash claimed 8 lives on Wednesday. Received by Vice President Prof. Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman and other officials, Kufuor urged Ghanaians to rally behind the president and government during this difficult time, noting that public service carries inherent risk. The acting Chief Justice Paul Bafo-Boni has cautioned against politicizing the tragic helicopter crash that claimed the lives of 8 men on Wednesday. Speaking after he led a team to lay flowers in honor of the deceased, he urged the public to remain respectful and supportive during this moment of collective grief.
This is a national tragedy. These gallant men died in the course of duty, and so we should forge ahead in national unity and not politicize their deaths. We should all have recourse to their legacy they left behind and then serve our nations to the best of our ability.
The Chamber of Mines is urging government and stakeholders to take a stronger stance against illegal mining following the tragic death of 5 senior government officials and 3 members of the Ghana Armed Forces. The chamber says their passing away should mark a turning point in Ghana's long battle against galamsey and environmental destruction. Engineer Dr. Ken Ashigbe is the Chief Executive Officer of the chamber.
Environmental crime, and say that these people are environmental criminals, including their cohorts, the politically exposed persons, that these people work for. His Excellency, the President, calls them the kingpins. All of them are environmental criminals. We seem to have normalized, it when we say galamsey, and it's almost been normalized. But these are people who go out, to rape this country, go out and the activities result in death, of people, including, as you recall, Major Mahama who died, and then now the 8 that we have lost. We cannot, as a country, afford to allow this crisis to pass.
Bright Awe has been remanded into police custody for 2 weeks by the Adabraka District Court as the prime suspect in the murder of immigration officer Stephen Keminni Amanor. Amanor went missing on July 3, and his partially burnt body was found 5 days later. Initially treated as kidnapping, the case was later classified as murder after forensic evidence revealed attempts to clean up the crime scenes. The case has been adjourned to August 22, 2025.
Well, thank you so much for your company here for this special edition of Ghana Tonight. Just gone by is Ghana Brief. Tonight, tents are up and lights on at the forecourt of the State House as officials get ready for the National Candlelight Vigil for the men whose own lights were snuffed out on Wednesday. Ghana's Defense Minister and Environment Minister, as well as 6 men, were killed in that fated chopper crash. The event, a night of reflections and memorial, is an opportunity to look back on their lives, the lives of these men who died serving this country. Tonight, these are the names you should remember. Dr. Edward Kofi Omane Boamah, our Minister of Defense. Alhaji Dr. Murtala Mohammed, Member of Parliament for Tamale Central and Minister for Environment, Science and Technology. Alhaji Muniru Mohammed Limuna, Acting Deputy National Security Coordinator. Dr. Samuel Sapong, Vice Chair of the NDC. Samuel Abuaje, Deputy Director General of NADMO. Squadron Leader Peter Anala of the Ghana Air Force, who piloted the chopper, assisted by Flying Officer Chum Ampedu, also of the Ghana Air Force, and the technician of the flight, Sergeant Ernest Adumensa. These are the names you should remember. It never gets easy, that does it. I'll take you to Takoradi now, where candlelight vigil has taken place at the Air Force Base in honor of the 3-member crew squadron leader Peter Anala, Flying Officer Chuman Pedu, and Sergeant Ernest Ado. That is the base they came from to Accra for the flights to take off to the Ashanti region, the flights that ended up killing all 8 of them. Let's connect now with Benjamin Pakoju Peters, who was at this candlelight vigil for a bit more on what took place and how it went. Benjamin, talk to us. I can only imagine it was a very somber event that reflected on the lives of the 3 servicemen who were killed in the fated incident. Talk to us.
Yeah, it's really a sad moment over here at the Takoradi Air Force Base. Until the demise of these 3 gallant men, they have been at the base all this while. Flying Officer Chuman Pofu, for instance, has the wife working with the Western Naval Command, and he was sent or brought to the base on November 4, 2021. Sergeant Mensa Ado NS has also been working at the Air Force Base since January 22nd January 2012. He served as a technician on the number 8 heli ring base. That's the section where he was working, as well as Sergeant Squadron Leader Peter Bafemi Anala. He also joined the base on January 2013, October 17, 2013, and he also served as a pilot on the D9 helicopter, which unfortunately crashed last Wednesday. It's really been a solemn moment for families, friends, and relatives who joined the vigil tonight. There were various testimonies about these three people, and one word seems to supersede everything. They were simply selfless and dedicated to their service. And the base commander said it's really an unfortunate situation for the Ghana Armed Forces for losing such gallant men who were really dedicated to their service.
I see. And we know that some of their peers at the Air Force Base spoke highly of them. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, like I said earlier, they belong to the number 8 heli wing of the Takoradi Air Force Base, and their colleagues were there. They told me they even had a kinky party just last Saturday prior to their departure to Accra to embark on this trip to Kumasi, where unfortunately they met their demise. And they simply address them as being so selfless and dedicated to their job. One of the colleagues was saying that Flying Officer Peter Ampedu, for instance, he envisaged him to be a teacher in the near future, that a commander in the near future, looking at how brilliantly he displays with the aircraft when he on the field. And to them, they really lost gems who to them they believe they are irreplaceable.
Indeed, and we can tell from their faces how this has impacted them, just as much as the rest of the country. Let's take a listen to some of the tributes that came through for the three servicemen.
Permit me to stand on the existing protocol to eulogize our three departed colleagues. On behalf of the number 8 helicopter wing, I wish to sincerely thank all of you for being here tonight to celebrate the lives of our dear colleagues, especially at such short notice. Life, though fleeting, grants us the privilege of crossing paths with remarkable people, sharing in their personalities and building cherished memories. Tonight, we honor three such extraordinary individuals: our colleagues, our friends, and our crew. While no amount of time would be enough to fully honor them, allow us to comment, starting with Squadron Leader Peter Bafemi Anala, call sign Ice Cap Hotel Romeo, India. To many of us, Peter was a skilled aviator. He was a mentor, colleague, friend, family man, and a consummate professional. His unwavering commitment to safety was evident to all. Most recently, in his insightful presentation at the 8th Wing Aeronautical Decision-Making Forum, where he analyzed the Calabasas crash involving basketballer Kobe Bryant. To the wing, he was a meticulous, unapologetic safety expert who loved flying. The only other thing he loved more than flying was teaching others to fly well and fly safely. To the younger pilots, he was their generous boss, approachable senior, and trusted teacher.
Friends of the media, good evening. Although it is not a very good evening for us. We gather here tonight under the solemn cover of nightfall with heavy hearts and united spirits to honor and remember our gallant air crew members who were involved in the aircraft accident on a Black Wednesday, the 6th of August, 2025. Just 2 days ago, our base, our Air Force, and indeed our nation was shaken by this tragic event. In the line of duty, these brave men took to the skies with courage in their hearts and service in their souls. They embodied the highest traditions of the Ghana Air Force: professionalism, discipline, and an unwavering commitment to the protection and safety of our nation. Though words cannot undo what has occurred, nor ease the pain we collectively feel, we are here tonight to remember, to reflect, and to reaffirm our deep appreciation for their sacrifice. Their dedication serves as a beacon, a powerful reminder of the selflessness that defines our noble profession. To our officers, men, defense civilian staff, this incident is a stark and painful reminder of the risk we accept every day in the service of Ghana. Let us draw strength from one another and let this moment deepen our resolve. To the families of these affected, please know that you do not stand alone. You are now and forever part of our military family. We mourn with you. We stand beside you, and we shall walk this path of healing with you. Tonight, as we hold this vigil with candles lit and our hearts open, we do not in despair. We do so not in despair, but in reverence. We honor the bravery of our crew, and we keep alive the spirit of unity, duty, and patriotism they represented.
That was a special candlelight vigil for the three servicemen, Peter Anala Menin, Chum Ampedu, and Sergeant Ado Mensah. I just want to also especially acknowledge the spouse of Flying Officer Menin, Chum Ampedu, Lieutenant Irajua Komi Treme, who you see in your shot over there as she walked to the gathering to take her seat for that vigil. She is the widow left behind by this tragic incident that took the life of her husband, Flying Officer Menin Chum Ampedu. And again, our hearts are with the families who are directly impacted by this. I also want to quickly acknowledge the presence of convener for One Ghana Movement, political commentator, and a very good friend of many years of the two ministers involved in this, Senor Hosi. Senor, I appreciate your time with us in such a very difficult moment. Oh, it appears Senor is muted. I also just want to tell you that shortly we'll go to the Eastern region, because as tributes continue to pour in, Eastern Regional Coordinating Council opened a book of condolence in honor of the Defense Minister, Dr. Omane Boamah, in a heartfelt eulogy. The Eastern Regional Minister, Rita Akosua-Awate, described the Defense Minister's passing as a great loss of a visionary leader to the region. Yes, Rita Awate. Well, I'll be sure to bring you that later. In the meantime, let's connect with Yvonne Nikwe, our Eastern Region correspondent, who's joined us from the St. George Cathedral Church, of which Dr. Omane Boamah was a member. Yvonne, talk to us about the special church service that was organized tonight.
Okay, Keminni. So this evening, we're having a youth convergence here at the St. George Cathedral Catholic Church, where Dr. Omane Boamah used to attend when he was in Takoradi. This evening's event was an already planned event, but because of the incident that has occurred in between, the youth director will be leading the youth here to have a moment of silence for him and then have some eulogy for him, ensuring that the youth lead exemplary life as him, being a staunch Catholic and also devoting his selfless life to the Catholic Church. And so that has what has begun already here. We're hoping to get to that event or time soon to get our viewers those pictures.
I see. Shortly we'll hear from Reverend Father Daniel Tetetaki, but in terms of the congregation, this is where he worshipped the Lord. He knew them quite closely. What was the response you got from the congregation?
Already, a lot of them go from the elderly, the Catholic priests in the diocese, and the youth. They're broken. This was a man they have known from his childhood when he was in power for the first regime, getting back to opposition and back to power. He's kept touch with them. For any event that was held in this region and in Takoradi, he was present when necessary. And so that bond was there. He continued to give them their presence. In recent time when he came into power, the Pope John Senior High School, which is a Catholic school, saw his impact. The road construction of the hospital junction to the school, he made sure that that particular road had been asphalted. The science laboratory in the school was an intended project he was going to get the GET fund to expand. Unfortunately, that could not happen. And so they believe that this is a great loss to them as a church and then to the nation as a whole. And then they see it.
I see. I think we can now take a listen to Reverend Father Tete when he spoke at the service today.
Much for the opportunity. In fact, we are very sad. We are all down, remembering the legacy he had left behind. This is his parish. He once served here as a mass server, as an altar server, knowing well that getting closer to God on his sanctuary sent him to so many places. Dr. Omane Boamah is one personal soul who is always in love with the church and always wants to give off his life for the service of the church and the nation. we could recount the many times he had been of help to the church and even the school where he attended. We could recall that not too long ago, Pope John celebrated their 67th speech and prize giving day. Prior to that, Pope John had the opportunity of having their roads asphalted, and it is through the instrumentality of the late Dr. Omane Boamah. It was a big blow to us, and the whole faithful, the entire region is mourning because such a gallant soul, together with his colleagues, had paid the price. Yes, it is our prayer that God will rest soon. So in this context that the entire youth of the Catholic Diocese of Koforidua had met this evening for a Jubilee night of praise, we want to remember him in a special way, the many encouragement he had given to the Catholic youth, and the fact that we should always be at the service of Holy Mother, the Church. May God grant him a peaceful rest, and may God number him among his angels in heaven. We pray that God's perpetual light shine on him always. Thank you.
Reverend Father Engineer Daniel Tetetaki is the priest of the Catholic Diocese of Koforidua. And Yvonne, I'll come back to you shortly so you tell us a bit more about the whereabouts of Dr. Omane Boamah's mother based on events that took place in the last few days. You were there, you saw what happened. But let's move over to Senor Hosi, political commentator, convener of One Ghana movement, and friend of many years with our deceased ministers. Senor, you have described Dr. Omane Boamah's story as inspiring. Talk to us about your time and why you say that.
Well, I got to know Omane when we were student politicians. I was a member of the University of Ghana, SRC. I went into the General Assembly quite early. Omane was a senior, I think by a year or two, but I started student politics quite early relative to my colleagues, so we had a lot of interactions then, and eventually I became an executive, a member of the council itself, because I was JCR president of Ekwafo Hall too at some point. I was a student opinion leader, so everybody who needed to do some politics definitely had some kind of engagement to run with me. He was amazing. I usually refer to his story as very interesting because for Omane, you hardly have medical students wanting to take interest in mainstream politics. The medical students have their own association, practically as a department. So that's okay if you do politics there. But to come as a medical student to do mainstream politics was really rare. But this was somebody who took a lot of interest in it, come for General Assembly meetings. He would also now come in lobbying to be NUC's president, which was very weird. Medical students, with all the pressures you have, but he still engaged us. And I always refer to the fact that he stammers. And people felt it was going to be quite a disadvantage. But just give Omane 5 minutes, and he will capture your attention. He will capture your attention absolutely. And he can make you feel like you are the only one he's talking to in the room at any given point in time. So he had that beautiful ability to connect. Very, very unique character. Respectfully, I think the other person I've met in my life who has that kind of trait is President Kufuor. And interestingly, both of them were stammer. All right? And we all gave him his support. He ran for NUCs, and he won. Medical students, he won. And he did not just win, he also did well in school, which was not so typical. And it's something that I doff my heart to him for. And in addition, outside of this, we were not too sure. We didn't expect him to carry politics even more seriously. We all do a bit of the student politics and move on. But Omane didn't stop there. He turned his hobby into his mainstay. So last month, on the sidelines of the Republic Day public lecture organized by the One Ghana movement and the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College, I got opportunity to, we just were chatting because he was special guest together with Olusegun Obasanjo, His Excellency, the former president of Nigeria. And I say, hey, Presido. He said, Charlie, I said, Presido, so be you where you did here right now. You don't go do your doctor work. He said, oh, Charlie, Senor, my hobby now can't take my main job. Oh. And then we all laughed it off. And that was him. He had a passion to serve. So every opportunity to serve and have broader impact attracted him much more.
Right.
And that was Omane.
And indeed, you also describe his tenacity when you talked about how he was vilified after the 2016 electoral loss, and somebody who would have gone into, in your words, oblivion, but he stood his ground and came back and led the party to victory. Unpack that for us.
I wouldn't place it in this matter. When these conversations were sometimes had, as an analyst, I felt that it sounded quite true, because he had responsibilities over the election. I think that the NDC 2016 election operation management was suboptimal, and he was one of those at the heart of it. So a lot of people really went for him, and people cited his inexperience, all that. Everybody, we all had some kind of something to say, whether you are the NPP side or you are on the NDC side. Analytically, there was some comment to be passed around Omane. He was seriously vilified by his own party members. Frankly, for a young man at that stage, who was just getting into politics in his really first run, given such a serious responsibility, there's no way the average Joe would have been standing still. You will be running by now. You'll go into oblivion and find another way to reinvent yourself. But Omane didn't. And even when in 2020, his party possibly could have taken advantage of his experience, learned, and his possible learning from his mistakes, they actually sidelined him as far as the role was concerned. But what happens? He still stayed true to his cause. He was very loyal to John Mahama. Very, very loyal. Amidst every single thing that was said about himself, Stan Dogbe, Julius Debra, there were too many commentary about that crew. But these guys stayed true and committed to His Excellency the President. Their loyalty is phenomenal. And he served. They gave him the job and the opportunity to come back in 2024. And Omane did not make the same mistake twice. He moved the bar a notch higher than we had ever seen in this country. Anybody, I had the opportunity, because of my relationship with the parties across, I had the opportunity to have a feel of how everybody was organizing. And I was really impressed by the transformation I had seen from the NDC. And I was surprised that the NPP did not even build on their past experiences. But Omane learned from everybody's mistake, learned from the strength of even his opponents, and restructured that particular operation very well. And that competence, that commitment, that humility to learn is rare. And remember, this is a medical doctor. He is a medical doctor. That's what he is. But he moved into strong project management, structured it, and was humble enough to learn and serve his people. If you know more about him, you know how close he is to His Excellency the President. That's why I say the President has not just lost a minister. He has lost his brother. He has lost his friend. He has lost a heartbeat.
Indeed.
It is very personal for him, the President. Besides his general responsibility, he has a very strong personal responsibility tied to Omane. You take the likes of Marita, very close people to Omane. Everybody has something great to say about him all the time. There's been no time that you really have people who really understand his work, his commitment to service, who will be close to him, really say much negativity about him because of his humility to learn. He does not run away from the fact that he makes mistakes, but he's always willing to listen.
Indeed.
Every time I've been privileged to be part of a debate, and I tell them that, look, you people, you don't listen. He is quick to tell his people to stop debating and rather listen.
And listen. And Senor, you had
because he wants to learn and he actually wants to serve.
Absolutely. You had the rare opportunity to know him on a personal level, on a family level. What kind of a family man would you say he was?
I was privileged. I had my kids' school with him, so we meet at parents teachers conferences and school days occasionally. I am not as loyal I am to that cause as he is. When my wife attends, they see Omane. When I attend, I see Omane. Omane is very loyal and committed to his children. He's a very present father. Despite all the difficulties and all the complexities of his role. And my friends tell me he himself was actually supervising the kids' homework. Something I haven't done in quite a while. Occasionally I do that. But for him, it was a religious duty. He would hardly go to bed without doing that. Me as a parent, I observed him from afar and I was shocked. In the same school, there are many other politicians who are on both sides of the aisle. And I don't see the level of activism that they show in the kids' responsibility as far as school events were concerned. I think that he was quite a model dad when it comes to that. And he tells you the man is a man of many parts. He has a certain attitude to politics. He has a certain attitude to policy, but he's very awoken to his domestic responsibilities. He was very present in the lives of his children. One of his children is in class with my son, all right? And one actually graduated recently. You go through it, he was one of the best students in the whole year. Consistently, this guy had taken gold, consistently.
Very well.
How do you achieve that if you're not really a present dad, organizing, coordinating, and teaching himself? I mean, it was no surprise, really.
Absolutely.
Looking at the kind of brain and quality
said,
you can really
he
get
was
there.
a present father, despite all the other duties he had to take on at the national level. I'm going to come to you again briefly, Senor.
One note before that. Look, we are all going to be talking. We are all going to share some words. A funeral will happen. And in most cases, time is gone. People start forgetting. But those children, for what their father have been to them, it is a big hit. But beyond that, I trust and pray that the values he has instilled in them will see them through the rest of their lives.
Absolutely. Senor, I'm going to come back to you because I know that you were also very close friends with Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed, and I want us to speak about him briefly as well. But in the meantime, I'll go back to the Eastern region, speak to our Eastern region correspondent, Yvonne Nikwe. Yvonne, what's the updates you have, if any, on the whereabouts of Dr. Omane Boamah's mother?
Dr. Many, I speak to you. The matter has been moved to because of the monitoring where after the government delegations visited the president. It wasn't right for her medical visits and psychological visits. They should use that to ensure that there be constant monitoring. So I speak to you in Accra. We have very good information that security is stable and being so. So that was the news about it. But I want us to also chip in exactly what the Regional Coordinating Council did today in one of Dr. Omane. As you rightly said, the regional minister, which was criticizing him. You did know that eventually for Dr. Omane, he never stood for any political position, but he raised a lot of young people in the region. And for that matter, they believe that many of the young ones that he has raising would be at the road, especially for the NDC's regional chairman.
Yvonne, I'm afraid we'll have to end our conversation here. The line, unfortunately, is not clear enough for us to hear properly what you tell us, but thank you so much for the reporting tonight. You're still live on Ghana Tonight. We're here on TV3 and on 392.7 is the special edition as we reflect on the lives of the Defense and Environment Ministers and the 6 other men who were killed in that helicopter crash. Senor, you talk about the kids earlier today. We heard the managing director for the Agric Development Bank, Ato Sapong, talk about how an endowment fund will be put together for the children, especially, of these men who we have just lost to the icy hands of death. How does this come to you?
It's welcome, but I think we have to look at a broader policy consideration. We can't continue to have this and have practically no backup for people who really serve our nation. When it's all done and dusted, it's left with the wife and the children. Trust me, all of us will get caught up in our everyday lives and our everyday problems. Very few people would always remember and stay committed to that cause. So I think that as a government, government must put in a structure and a policy. I would recommend that a group-like policy is put in place for every single government appointee, especially those outside of the corporate institutions, because the corporates should handle themselves. But those with central government, the political appointees there, every one of them. And we should invest in that so that when disaster strikes, people who lay down their lives trying to serve us will be well catered for. What we currently do does not help. As a matter of fact, this structure, what we currently have operational, will rather fester corruption. Because if I die for this country and I'm gone and my children will starve, what do? Let's put in a structure so everybody who knows that when I serve my country has my back.
Indeed.
The country cannot just keep an unlimited budget. That's why you go in for insurance policies that create and take care of all these situations. So people's quality of life will not be so badly impacted. People will have a new window. So I humbly call on His Excellency the President. Let us start something new. Let us change the way we handle this. It should not just be arbitrary. It should be ingrained in the conditions of service for these people. A little part of the salaries, a little premium that is paid by the government can take care of these people for a very long time. In the event that there are disasters happening while they are in office, there are solutions that are not so expensive, but can be broad enough to take care of people. So people freely serve without thinking of creating their own installations that come back to haunt us as a people. So I strongly recommend that the government considers putting together a group-like policy in place for every single appointee to cover the risk of accidents, of loss of life, any kind of incidents, relative to their lives while they work, so that their children, their wives, their families can actually depend on it to sustain themselves. It's
very
not
well,
easy.
Senor.
We must not keep this being discretionary. It must be in structure, and it must be one that is meaningful and sustainable for those who serve us as political appointees of public servants.
Indeed,
this job
Senor, what I want us to do now,
Senor, especially,
what I want us to do now is to go up north, where 3 of the men come from: Squadron Leader Peter Anala, Alhaji Munir Limuna, and Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed. We know that certain events have taken place there. So let's connect right now with our Northern and Savannah region correspondent, Christopher Amwako. Chris, talk to us about happenings today. There was an earlier visit to the home of Peter Anala, so to speak.
Yes, Keminni, I must say that the visitations continued today as well, since the unfortunate incident happened. And so top government officials within the region, members of parliament within the region, some of them who are home have visited families of the affected individuals in the helicopter tragedy. Talk about in Tamale, a visit by the Northern Regional Minister and the team to the home of the squadron leader Anala. They were at the family house earlier today, and in fact, something shocking that the mother of the late squadron leader lost a son in June this year, on the 29th of June, that is some 6 weeks ago, he lost a son in the United States of America, and losing Anala again, it's a pain that she's trying so hard to endure. Then the team also visited the Honorable Murtala Muhammad's family house in Tamale. In the Savannah region, the Member of Parliament for Damango constituency actually visited, Samuel Abu Jinako actually visited the home of Alhaji Mohamed Muniru, also went to Tamale to visit some of the bereaved families. Now, the Gonjaland Youth Association also visited all three victims' families' home in Tamale. And so that has been the activity that has been carried out today by these top government officials. Other denominations like religious groups and other bodies have also visited the families to commiserate with them and also reassure them that they are not in this alone, but everyone in the country, every Ghanaian is feeling the pain of the unfortunate incident. Keminni.
Difficult for the mother of Peter Anala, who's also lost another child, you say, in the last 6 weeks. But we also know that there was visitation to the home of Alhaji Limuna. Talk to us about that.
Yes, so the Member of Parliament for Damango constituency, lawyer Samuel Abu Jinako, who has been in the constituency since Parliament went on break. Since the incident happened, he's been at the family house because he's also a member of the family. So he visited the family yet again today. When I got to Damango, he donated some items to the family. The Gonjaland Youth Association, you know, when the incident happened, the Yebora had it in the media, and traditionally it was not supposed to be so. And so the Gonjaland Youth Association had the burden of traveling to Damango to meet with the King of Gonja to officially and formally inform him about the death of Alhaji Muhammad Muniru Lumbina, who is a chief in the Damango traditional area. And in fact, he's a chief of one of the communities in the Damango traditional area, and so he's a titled man, and announcing his funeral must take some protocols. And so even though the regional minister had earlier gone to inform the family, but they have to also go through some processes again today. And so
customary processes.
That was what happened earlier today.
Indeed. And you were also telling us that people are starting to leave the north for Accra for the vigil?
Yes, earlier today, while I was in the family house, they had dispatched some of the family members to Accra because of the vigil tomorrow. And so the first team has taken place because they are going to be part of the preparations, and if there are other activities, they will actually take care of that. We also heard earlier that the president was supposed to pay to visit Alhaji Mohamed Muniru's house in Accra to sympathize with the family. And so that was why there was a rush in taking them to Accra. Tomorrow, another team will follow to Accra to be part of the vigil.
Indeed, and we'll keep an eye on events here while you do same up north. Thank you so much for the reporting. I do want to go back to Senyo now and speak quickly about Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed. Senyo, you called him Abochi. Talk to us about the relationship between the two of you.
Okay, my relationship with Murtala also dates back to our time in Legon, in the early days, against student politics. He ran together with Professor Albert Kwashiga of the UPSA Law School. I guess it's a professor or a doctor, whichever. For SRC president. And these two people come to my block early in the morning, and I was the noisiest one on the block, so everybody was expecting to say something. And they shall start. I'm not here to make lofty promises. I'm not here to make lofty promises. I said they should please get away. They are all the same, you know. And that actually got our relationship going on. And they had to now come and spend time in my room, try and convince me and all that. I didn't vote for them. But we became friends after. They lost the SRC president. So I became the face of the opposition. And they became my backers. He and the late John Kuma. John Kuma is also a friend. I a relationship, but we had through 5 years earlier. No, 4 years earlier before we met Aboji. You know, they did want to convince me. They didn't get along with it because we didn't agree on some or facts at the time. All of them.
Indeed, Senor, what we'll do is we'll take a quick break. Hopefully when we return from the break, your connection will be better so we can hear clearly what you say about Dr. Murtala Mohammed. This is Ghana Tonight. Let's go on that quick break. When we come back, we've also got some breaking news for you. Don't go away.
Reporting from the Takoradi Market Circle, from the heart of the Upper West Regional Capital,
from the heart of the Ashanti Kingdom.
Reporting from Sunyani,
from the Central Business District of Navrongo.
The parliamentarians are on recess.
This is where it all unfolds. The moments that potentially alters the course of our nation and the world. These are the individuals we recognize, the voices we amplify, who appears on screen and who contributes behind the scenes. With professionalism at our core, we bring you news you can trust, impact journalism that makes a difference. This illustrates how diverse perspectives enhance our strength and reinforces our mission. This is 3 News. Leaders in breaking news, exclusive interviews, facts and analysis on TV, radio, online and digital. 3 News, first in news.
You're welcome back to Ghana Tonight. I told you there's some news just coming in to us here at Ghana Tonight. In the last hour, we've been told that the FBI has officially charged some Ghanaians, 4 of them, Isaac Oduro Boateng, Kofi Boat, Inusa Ahmed, Derek Van Yeboah, and Patrick Kwame Asari. I'll tell you more about that a little later. But let's go on to what has rocked the nation in the last 3 days since Wednesday. Senyo, you were telling us a bit more about your relationship with Dr. Murtala Mohammed. And, you know, a lot of us know him as a very bubbly, very loud, very vibrant young man. Is that a true reflection of what your relationship was like with him? Some fond memories will help.
Lead you by his character. You see him come up quite forcefully, but he's one of the warm and one of the kindest people you find. All right. He loves to be passionate about what he does. He debates fiercely. You know, this man is a guy with a very difficult and not a very easy beginning. Before coming to university, he had to be a pupil teacher. All right, he came to university. Everywhere you put this guy, he emerges. He fights his way up. But that guy is one of the warmest and the kindest people you find in this country. Those who know him truly know him. And if you talk about corruption, no. He's the last guy. If you want to talk about a politician who you call not corrupt, Murtala is one person, and so is Omane Boamah. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Today as we speak, I just pray that the work that's going on in some of the government offices just get completed. People have been trying to compromise the guy. The guy never accepts it. People know it. I've received complaints. I've received people reach out. I've received, notes from himself in different ways. Trust me. You see Murtala coming up vibrantly, passionately about his argument. He's one of the people who is in a hurry to help anybody he can.
Very well.
Anybody he can. And he does not do political coloration, and that's been typical of him. I didn't vote for him, but he aligned with me for us to work when we were student politicians. We worked closely, we worked well. All right, eventually we unstarted the SRC president at the time, but we maintained our relationship.
Very well.
Oh, yeah. Murtala knows how to politically structure a scheme, but when you talk about his humanity, that guy is a very kind man.
Senor,
he's a very kind man.
Indeed. Senor, if your friends could hear you now, what would you say to them?
Come back. Just come back. We can't make sense of all this. Just come back, please. Omane, Abuchi, just come back. We beg you, just come back. Just come back. That's all. Come back, I beg you.
Indeed, Senor, I'm grateful for your time.
I'm parked in a car park. Yeah. You called me, and I've parked, and I'm having, because it's these people. It's not right.
Yeah.
Omane, we can't take it. Your sisters, you know who I'm talking about, they can't take it. They've cut their journey, they are here. They can't. Abuchi, I beg you, come. And look, the Galamsey fight. I'm telling you, Omane Boamah, Murtala, and Imanor are the ministers we could only bank our hopes on. These three people, now two are gone. And you know, I easily could have been on that flight. The last time, Boa was on the flight. And he wanted me, because of our advocacy on Galamsey, to be present. He made me go onto the same helicopter. Today, Boa called me to tell me that was the same helicopter. He called me again. I was not in town. Otherwise, he would have asked me to also show up at this particular one. I could have been on that helicopter because I was on it for the same purpose. Not too long ago, just a couple of months ago, we went to Jomoro with that same helicopter. Why? It could be anybody. And I tell those whose lives were spared by they not being on this particular flight, the people who have passed are people with depth and strong humanity, strong service. So if you are alive, Muntaka, Samitinfi, every one of them, there's a bigger calling to your life. Boa, there's a bigger calling to your life. That calling can only be for humanity, for the advancement of the lives of the people who are left in this country. You must commit yourself to true service beyond the comprehension of man, because that is the calling for the transformation of God's kingdom and for the transformation of this country. It makes no sense that we lose these great people. It makes no sense. So if anybody stayed and lived at their expense, please, you must do 10 times as much as they ever did.
Absolutely. Senor,
it must count for something.
Senor, I'm grateful for your time tonight. Thank you so much. Senor Hosi is political commentator, convener for One Ghana movement, and he's also friends of many years with Dr. Omane Boamah and Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed. Now, just before we wrap up on this one, just a quick statement from Parliamentary Select Committee on Defense and Interior on this incident. Now, the committee statement signed by the chairperson, James Agalga, reads, the Committee on Defense and Interior of Parliament extends its deepest condolences to the families of the Honorable Minister of Defense, 3 servicemen, and 4 other dignitaries who lost their lives in the tragic military helicopter crash on August 6, 2025 in the Adanse Asokwa district of the Ashanti region. of the fallen heroes by redoubling efforts to retool the Ghana Armed Forces to improve its operational efficiency. And that's very crucial because it's something the Defense Minister, Dr. Omane Boamah, was very passionate about. May the departed souls rest in perfect peace and may their families find strength and comfort during this difficult time, ends the statement from the Parliamentary Committee. So I told you also about that news just coming in that the FBA has charged 4 Ghanaians, 3 of whom are in their custody. These 3 being Isaac Oduro Boateng, also known as Kofi Boat, Inusa Ahmed, also known as Pascal, and Derek Van Yeboah, also known as Van. Now, the 4th actor, as the indictment calls them, Patrick Kwame Asare, a.k.a. Boga. Then the FBI indictment shows that he is at large. I want to share with you what we are seeing from the indictment as being the charges the grand jury has charged them with. Count 1, conspiracy to commit wire fraud. And it goes on to say that the defendants and others known and unknown were members of a criminal enterprise based primarily in Ghana that committed fraud against individuals and businesses located across the United States, including the Southern District of New York. Many of the enterprises' romance scam victims were vulnerable older men and women who lived alone. That's on the first count. On the second count, we see that the grand jury is charged with wire fraud. On the third count, apart from the fraud, there's also conspiracy to commit money laundering, count 4, conspiracy to receive stolen money, and count 5, receipt of stolen money. Really crucial in the indictment is the forfeiture allegations, and it reads that as a result of committing the wire fraud and stolen property offenses charged in counts 1, 2, 4, and 5 of this indictment, now the defendants shall forfeit to the United States any and all property, real and personal, which constitutes or is derived from proceeds traceable to the commission of said offenses. There's more on this story on 3news.com. Remember that tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., there will still be key points. Alfred Okanse will be here with his panel to discuss the week's biggest story. Your guess is as good as mine. It will center on how this nation is mourning the loss of these 8 brave men. On Sunday, I also bring you a conversation on hot issues at 2 p.m., just around that as well. Saturday night, from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m., Media General will bring you a live coverage of that National Candlelight Vigil at the forecourt of the State House. We will be there from the beginning till the end of it. We'll start with some pre-discussions and lace the candlelight vigil with discussions as well on the ground and here in the studio. Do make time to watch us and be a part of it. If you can't be at the forecourt of the State House, we will bring it to you wherever you are. This is Ghana Tonight. I'm Keminni Amanor. Good night.
Ghana Tonight is brought to you by Flamingo Paint. Superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.
Sasso insecticide spray and coil.